Doc and Connie Hatfield are about as authentic as any two individuals you would ever meet.
The purpose of Doc and Connie is for rural America to be sustainable and to survive and to revitalize.
The interesting thing about the story with them is it's not a story. It's not a PR gimmick. It's not smoke and mirrors. It's from the heart.
And our goal is to provide a sustainable means through a group to profitably market quality beef products desired by the consumer while maintaining ever possible independence.
They had pushback in the early days. They had conventional businesses laughing about it. They had a lot of retailers not buying in, but just strength of will and muscle and mostly belief in that was the model that all agriculture needed to work toward. They willed themselves for this company to be as successful as it's become.
So it was a matter of we ranchers realizing that we could do a lot of things that we hadn't done in the past, that we just needed to work together on to make work.
See, the last place you'd make a co-op is a bunch of sagebrush ranchers, because
we're all so independent.
we're very happy out there living by ourselves. We're not lonely. We don't lack for group activity. We don't want any group activity, but if we're going to stay independent, we've got to figure out how to work together.
When you think about them starting a meeting and having all of their business partners hold hands, that doesn't happen in the cattle industry. But that's who Doc and Connie are.
One of the things that Doc and Connie really did is they identified retailers that had similar cultures. And that's not always done in the generic markets. But they identified that retailer and said, we need to mesh our cultures and bring rural to urban. And they probably did a better job of that than anybody that I've seen in our industry or any other ag industry.
And they did something else that people oftentimes in agriculture don't do because they're uncomfortable doing that, and that is reaching out one-on-one with their customers and connecting with their customers and talking about themselves and who they are and the land that they come from and selling that in their product.
You don't just join. You have to put your cattle through, and you have to do your in-store demos and talk to customers and host people on the ranch, and it's a commitment to a way of life and a whole philosophy.
We go in and, like, if someone goes up and buys a pound of hamburger out of one of the stores that we have our products in, and I'll come up and I'll say, excuse me, I just want to thank you for buying that hamburger. I'm one of the ranch families that produce it. And they turn around and they say, oh no, thank you for doing this for us. And you cannot imagine the passion and the care that brings back to us, because it's like somebody does care.
See, the interesting thing is most of our ranchers are conservative, rural, religious Republicans. Most of our customers are liberal, secular, urban Democrats, and that makes absolutely no difference at all when you're talking about healthy food, healthy land, healthy animals, healthy communities. Our daughter was at Willamette here, and she came home and she said, you know, you can talk about being environmentally friendly and ecologically sound and sustainable and family-oriented, but unless you can paint a word picture of what that looks and feels like, it doesn't mean zilch. We are Country Natural Beef, a cooperative of artisan ranches scattered across the West. Our roots extend a century and a half deep to a time when our ancestors were crossing the Oregon Trail. We have a passion to communicate our beliefs about the land through a beef product you can savor and trust. Our product is more than beef. It's the smell of sage after a summer thunderstorm, the cool shade of a ponderosa pine forest. It's 80-year-old weathered hands saddling a horse in the Blue Mountains, the future of a 6-year-old in a one-room school in the high desert. It's trout in a beaver-built pond, haystacks on an aspen-framed meadow. It's the hardy quail running to join the cattle for a meal, the welcoming ring of a dinner bell at dusk. And all those pictures are very real in our ranches, and that's not just a story, that's who and what we are, and that's what sustainability looks and feels like.
I guess I'd just like to thank them for their courage and their determination and endurance.
If anybody has done anything to bridge the divide between the ag business on the east side of the state and the urban population on the west side of the state, your names will come up first on the list. Incredible job. Keep up the great work. We love you dearly.
They've opened up a path and shown the way for the rest of the industry that I think is hugely beneficial for Oregon agriculture. And bottom line, I'd just like to say to Doc and Connie both that I love them.